Welcome to ESL listening practice. Think about the last time you were having just a perfectly good evening.
Right. Maybe you were watching a movie.
Yeah, or reading a book, or, just relaxing on your sofa.
Sounds nice.
It is nice. But then you open your phone and you see a picture of friends at a dinner party that you weren't invited to.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe a coworker on some luxurious vacation.
Exactly. And suddenly your perfectly good evening just feels miserable. I mean, why did a 3-inch screen just ruin your mood?
It's a great question.
Right. So our mission today is to explore this feeling. It is very common in our hyper-connected world, and we want to dive into the psychology behind it.
We really need to understand how it physically affects our brains, too.
Yes, and learn how to take back control of our attention. Plus, along the way, we're going to break down some of the intermediate English vocabulary you need to discuss these modern mental health challenges.
Because we are looking at something that touches almost everyone who owns a smartphone.
Absolutely everyone.
And we want to move past just acknowledging that this feeling exists. I mean, we need to understand the mechanism.
The mechanism, right.
Like, what is actually happening in your nervous system when you scroll through a feed and, why your brain is tricking you into feeling unhappy?
Because by understanding the how and the why, we can actually map out a practical way to protect our own happiness.
Exactly.
So the feeling we're talking about has a specific acronym. It's FOMO. FOMO.
Which stands for the fear of missing out.
Right. At its core, FOMO is that anxious feeling that other people are having exciting experiences or, achieving big milestones.
We're simply living better lives.
Yeah. While you are stuck somewhere else, completely missing it. It is that sinking feeling in your stomach when you look at a screen and just feel left behind.
And there is a real scientific reason for that feeling. Humans have a biological need to belong.
Like from an evolutionary standpoint.
Yes. If we look back thousands of years, being part of the group was literally a matter of life and death.
Because if you were left out of the tribe,
you wouldn't survive the winter. It's that simple.
Wow. Okay.
And the thing is, your brain hasn't updated its software since then.
So it's still acting like we live in a tribe.
Exactly. So when you open an app and see a social gathering that you aren't part of, your primitive brain doesn't just think, oh, I missed a fun party.
What does it think?
It registers it as a threat to your survival.
Wait, really? A threat to your survival?
Yes. It triggers a physical stress response.
Which totally explains why it feels so uncomfortable. I mean, it's not just a passing thought. Your body is actually reacting with an alarm bell.
And modern technology exploits this ancient alarm system perfectly.
Oh, absolutely. Social media accelerates FOMO because of the way these platforms are designed and, well, the way people curate their lives on them.
Right, because people almost exclusively share the absolute best parts of their days.
Yeah, I mean, you don't post a picture of yourself crying over a frustrating work email.
Or sitting in completely motionless traffic.
No. You post the delicious dinner, the stunning sunset, the smiling faces.
We refer to this as a highlight reel.
A highlight reel.
It's the edited, filtered and perfected version of reality.
Which makes this the perfect moment to talk about an essential English word for our B2 learners today.
Let's do it.
The word is compare.
To compare. So when you compare two things, you are examining them to see how they are similar and how they are different.
Right. But in the context of psychology and social media, we are making a fundamentally unfair comparison.
Completely unfair. We compare the mundane, boring reality of our own daily lives to someone else's highlight reel.
It is like trying to measure your worst day against someone else's best day.
That's a great way to put it.
I picture it like walking down a dark street in the middle of winter.
Okay.
It's cold out. And you look through a tiny window into someone else's house. Through that specific window, you see this beautifully decorated living room.
Right, maybe a warm fireplace.
Yeah, a comfortable sofa, people laughing together. It looks flawless.
But what you can't see is the messy kitchen just outside the frame.
Exactly. You don't see the sink full of dirty dishes. You don't see the burnt dinner on the stove or, the unpaid bills sitting on the counter.
Because social media is just that tiny window.
Right. And when you look through it, you end up comparing your entire house, including your own messy kitchen, to their perfect, curated living room.
And the danger of looking through that window is what it does to our logic. Viewers make that comparison and naturally feel inadequate.
Because they falsely conclude that everyone else is happier.
Right, or more successful, or having much more fun. The human brain constantly looks for patterns, right? So when it sees a sequence of smiling faces on a screen, it just assumes that person's entire existence is a state of constant joy.
Which is a completely flawed logic.
Very flawed, but the emotional impact is still very real.
Yeah, and this illusion on our screens starts to have significant physical consequences. We aren't just talking about feeling a little bit sad for a minute.
No, not at all.
Because we are constantly exposing ourselves to these unfair comparisons, it actively chips away at our mental health.
The research on this is very clear, actually. This constant state of comparison leads to elevated levels of cortisol.
Which is the body's primary stress hormone, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So people experience chronic anxiety. They report having difficulty concentrating on their actual daily tasks.
Like their job or their studies.
Exactly, because their minds are occupied by this background worry about what they are missing.
Wow.
But most destructively, it degrades self-esteem.
Let's focus on that term for a second, self-esteem, because it is a vital concept for our listeners to understand deeply.
Well, esteem means respect or admiration.
Okay.
So self-esteem is the foundational respect and value you hold for yourself.
Meaning when you have high self-esteem, you are secure in who you are and what you are doing.
Right. But the fear of missing out actively lowers your self-esteem.
How so?
Because you are constantly judging your everyday life against those perfect, edited online images, so you slowly lose respect for your own reality.
Oh, that makes sense. You begin to feel like your own achievements just aren't impressive enough.
And that your life isn't interesting enough. Your internal valuation drops.
And this anxiety and low self-esteem drive a very specific physical behavior, don't they?
Yes, constant phone checking.
Right. People develop this compulsive habit where they are checking their notifications the moment they wake up.
While they are eating breakfast.
Yeah. Even while they're sitting right across the table talking to a real person.
They are trapped in this loop, terrified of missing an important update.
Okay, I hear what you're saying about this being a compulsive habit.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a second.
Sure.
We live in a world where a lot of actual life happens in group chats and online groups.
That is true.
I mean, if I put my phone in a drawer for the weekend, I am genuinely going to miss real-world invitations to go do things. I want to know if there's a major news story happening or if my friends are meeting up.
Right. You want to stay in the loop.
Exactly. So where is the line between having healthy boundaries and literally isolating yourself? Isn't staying informed just a normal part of modern life?
It's a common dilemma, for sure. And the dividing line between healthy connection and a harmful habit really comes down to motivation and control.
Motivation.
Yeah. There is a vast psychological difference between staying informed and being driven by anxiety. Staying informed is an intentional, purposeful action.
Okay, could you give an example?
Sure. You decide you want to check your messages to see where dinner is, you read the information, you make a plan, and then you put the device away and return your attention to your physical environment.
So you are entirely in control of the tool. The tool works for you.
Precisely. But when you are controlled by FOMO, checking your phone isn't about gathering information.
What is it about then?
It is a reaction to anxiety. You aren't looking for a specific message, you're looking for a dopamine hit.
Dopamine.
Right, a quick chemical reward in your brain to calm your nerves. You check the feed because if you don't, you feel an empty ache.
That sounds almost like an addiction.
It's very similar. The algorithm acts like a slot machine in a casino. You pull the lever by refreshing the screen, hoping for a reward of reassurance. But often you just see something that makes you feel excluded.
Which just triggers more anxiety.
Exactly. The phone is commanding your attention, pulling you out of your actual life.
It's the difference between driving a car to a destination and being dragged down the street behind the car.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
So recognizing that this fear causes real physiological stress and chips away at our self-esteem, we need to talk about the mechanics of fixing it.
Yes.
How do we break this cycle and protect our mental health?
Well, the solutions require active, conscious changes to our daily routines. The first and most critical step is creating physical friction between you and the habit.
Physical friction.
Right. We need to simply spend less time on these platforms.
You know, spend less time on your phone sounds like the most generic advice in the world.
It does, but it's true.
But the actual implementation of it is what matters.
Right.
You can't just tell yourself to look at it less.
Yeah.
You have to change your environment. Like, use the 20-20-20 rule or put the phone in a completely different room when you sleep.
That is so important. If you have to physically get up and walk into the kitchen to check your feet at night, that physical barrier interrupts the automatic habit loop.
You're literally breaking a neural pathway.
Exactly. That physical friction is key. The second strategy is a cognitive exercise.
What do you mean by that?
You have to actively remind yourself of the illusion.
Ah, okay.
When you are looking through that tiny window and you see a perfect vacation photo, you must consciously tell yourself, this is curated. This is a highlight reel.
This is not their everyday reality.
Right. You have to challenge the data your brain is receiving so it doesn't trigger that biological alarm bell we talked about earlier.
That makes total sense. And the third strategy is where we transition from just defending ourselves against FOMO to actually building a healthier mindset.
And that is the practice of gratitude.
Right.
Let's explain gratitude for our B2 learners, because it is much more than just saying thank you.
Yeah, it's a bit deeper than that.
Much deeper. Gratitude is an active psychological practice of recognizing and appreciating the things you currently possess or experience.
Because FOMO is a state of deficit thinking, right?
Yes. Your brain is entirely focused on what you lack, on what you are missing.
But practicing gratitude rewires your brain to focus on abundance.
Exactly. It means taking time daily to acknowledge the value in your own life, whether it is your health, a supportive friend, or just the comfort of a quiet room.
Which connects directly to the fourth strategy, which is focusing on your own personal goals.
Yes, it does.
Because when you invest your energy into something you genuinely care about, you naturally become more satisfied with your own experiences.
That's very true.
I always think about this like running a sprint on a track.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, imagine you are running a race. If you turn your head to look sideways at the runner in the lane next to you, to see how fast they are moving or what brand of shoes they are wearing, what happens to your body?
You probably slow down.
Right. And your body naturally steers in the direction of your gaze. You will literally cross over into their lane, lose your balance, and collide.
You ruin your own race.
Exactly. You ruin your own race. Social media constantly forces you to look sideways. But if you keep your eyes locked straight ahead on your own finish line, you stay in your lane, you run efficiently, and you succeed.
I love that analogy. The physical mechanics of that map perfectly onto human psychology.
Yeah.
When you look sideways at everyone else's curated lives, you steer your own life off course. But when you direct your attention to your own goals, you are looking at your own finish line.
And the natural result of implementing these 4 steps, creating physical distance from the device, recognizing the illusion, rewiring the brain with gratitude, and staying in your own lane is a profound sense of satisfaction.
You stop caring about the race everyone else seems to be running.
And this is where the magic really happens. By consistently practicing gratitude and keeping our eyes on our own finish line, we don't just reduce the fear of missing out.
We actually transform the feeling entirely.
Right, flips from a negative to a positive.
It evolves into a contrasting psychological concept known as JOMO. J-O-M-O.
JOMO. Which stands for the joy of missing out.
The joy of missing out.
Instead of feeling that anxious ache in your stomach because you aren't somewhere else, you feel a sense of relief and happiness about where you are.
It is a complete paradigm shift. JOMO is the conscious enjoyment of your own life without the burden of worrying about what the rest of the world is doing.
So instead of feeling isolated or left out because you skipped a big event you saw online, you feel a deep sense of peace.
Yes. People who cultivate JOMO learn how to fully appreciate the present moment.
And that brings us to another vital phrase for our listeners to master today. Appreciate the present moment. Let's define what that actually looks like in practice.
Well, to appreciate something means to recognize its full worth and understand its value.
Kind of like in finance.
Yes, think of it like an appreciating asset in finance. Its value grows when you hold on to it and pay attention to it.
Okay, and the present moment.
The present moment is the exact physical and temporal space you are occupying right now.
So to appreciate the present moment means to look at your immediate surroundings.
The chair you're sitting in, the temperature of the air, the task you are doing.
And recognize the inherent value in it without wishing you were somewhere else.
Exactly.
It's the ability to sit at home on a Saturday night in your sweatpants, reading a book, knowing full well that your friends might be out at a loud, expensive dinner, and genuinely thinking to yourself, I am so glad I am exactly where I am right now.
You aren't missing out. You are intentionally choosing your own peace.
I love that. But I have to push back a little on how easy this sounds.
Though it's not easy.
Right, because in today's hyper-connected society, screens are everywhere.
They are.
We work on computers, we navigate with our phones, we communicate constantly. Is it actually realistic for an average person with an average job and a social life to stop worrying entirely about what others are doing?
That's a fair question.
I mean, is achieving JOMO just a fantasy for people who have the luxury to disconnect?
That is a vital reality check. Our brains are biologically wired to care about our social standing, and technology companies spend billions of dollars to exploit that wiring.
Billions.
So it's highly unlikely that you will ever completely eliminate the feeling of FOMO for the rest of your life.
So we're stuck with it.
Not entirely. You will still have moments where you feel a pang of exclusion, but JOMO is absolutely realistic as an active practice, rather than a permanent state of enlightenment.
Oh, I see.
You don't have to throw your phone in a river and go live in a cave.
That's a relief.
You just have to build the mental muscle to consciously choose where your attention goes.
So when you feel that anxiety spike, you recognize it.
You put the phone down and you choose to re-engage with your physical reality.
It's about realizing that your messy kitchen, to go back to our earlier analogy, is actually a wonderful place to be.
Because it's real.
Right. It's real, it's yours, and you don't need to apologize for it or compare it to a neighbor's staged living room.
Every time you choose your own reality over a digital illusion, you strengthen your self-esteem and weaken the grip of anxiety.
Well, let's pull all of these threads together. We started by exploring the phenomenon of FOMO, the fear of missing out.
And we discussed how our evolutionary need to belong is hijacked by the highlight reels on our screens.
Trapping us in a cycle of unfair comparisons.
We examined the physiological toll this takes, too. The cortisol spikes, the chronic stress, and the erosion of our self-esteem.
And we identified the difference between intentionally gathering information and compulsively checking a screen for a dopamine reward.
Most importantly, we mapped out the mechanics of taking back control.
Right, by creating physical friction to reduce screen time.
Actively recognizing the digital illusion.
Rewiring our brains through gratitude.
And keeping our eyes focused straight ahead on our own personal goals, we can break the cycle.
And through those actions, we can transform that fear into JOMO, the joy of missing out.
Mastering these psychological concepts, alongside intermediate English vocabulary like compare, self-esteem, gratitude, and appreciate, equips you to navigate the modern world with much more resilience.
It really does. And we want to leave you with a specific challenge today. This evening, try putting your phone in a drawer or in another room for just 1 hour.
Just 1 hour.
Turn the screen off and create that physical friction. And during that hour, actively look for one quiet thing in your immediate physical surroundings that gives you that joy of missing out.
Maybe it's the sound of the rain.
Or the taste of a hot cup of tea. Or just the silence of a room.
What beautiful real-world moment are you usually missing while you are busy staring at a screen?
Find that moment, hold on to it, and truly appreciate its value.
It's worth it.
Thank you for joining us for this session of ESL listening practice. Keep building your English skills, keep challenging the illusions on your screen, and remember to stay present in your own amazing life. We will see you next time.